Okay, here we go. It's all been leading up to this. All my reviews for Kevin Smith movies, it's all been leading up to the ultimate. Tusk. Tusk stars Justin Long, Michael Parks, Genesis Rodriguez, and Haley Joel Osment, and a certain role from an actor I don't want to spoil in case you don't know what it is. Most of us probably do if we know anything about this movie, but if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you, so check out the movie and enjoy that. And as always, it's written and directed by Kevin Smith. The story is about a podcaster played by Justin Long who podcasts with Haley Joel Osment, and then he goes on the road. Justin Long goes to places and interviews people to make fun of on his podcast, and Haley Joel Osment just listens to it after the fact, the story. And so he goes to Canada, and the guy he was going to interview and make fun of kind of dropped out in a way. And so he ends up just kind of like, oh shit, what do I do? And he comes across an ad in a bathroom about a guy with amazing stories to tell. So he goes to interview that guy, and the guy turns out to be crazy and wants to turn Justin Long into a walrus. Now, from that definition alone, you'll hear the movie and either think, that sounds dumb, I don't want to see it, or you might think, that sounds perfectly fucked up and awesome, and I think it's perfectly fucked up and awesome. And this movie was birthed on a podcast. Smodcast, I forget the number, 259 or something, I don't remember which one, but I've listened to it a couple times, The Walrus and the Carpenter. Kevin Smith, Scott Mosier, they were reading a story on Gumtree, I think it was, about a dude that would let a tenant live with him for free if he dressed up 2 hours a day as a walrus. And yeah, from that they just kept riffing and thinking up a horror movie. And to be honest, this movie and the one they talked about on the podcast are pretty much the same movie. The movie they talked about and joked about on Smodcast pretty much became this movie, except on Smodcast it was really funny to hear them joke about it, and this movie, it's a little bit more intense. Yeah, this movie, don't get me wrong, this movie is funny as all hell. It is definitely a horror comedy, but it's still intense and terrifying at times. Maybe terrifying is giving it a little too much, but it's creepy for sure and atmospheric in the just fucked up department. It's like the Human Centipede, except the Human Centipede's kind of a piece of crap, and this is a good movie. I have very little faults with this movie. You know how much I praised Red State if you watched my review for it. This one, even more so, or at least just as much. This is more Kevin Smith really not doing a Kevin Smith movie. There's no conversation about Star Wars and stuff. This is horror comedy at its best. First half of the movie is a lot of setup. There's a lot of setup to Justin Long finally being made into the walrus, and that's what it looked like, yeah. I don't know. And I'll be honest, I like the idea that, oh, it's podcasters and this and that. Except their podcast sucked, okay? Just what they showed in the movie. If that was a real podcast, I wouldn't listen to it. It blows. I wish they did a better podcast. Like if it seemed like Justin Long and Haley Joel Osment's version of Smodcast, maybe I'd feel a little worse for them. So yeah, their podcast sucks, but I like the characters enough, I guess. You're definitely going to feel sorry for Justin Long when he starts getting really fucked up. Genesis Rodriguez also, she's very good. Kevin Smith gives her an awesome monologue where just camera's right on her. Alright, act. And I thought she did really good in there. Justin Long really good as a guy in a very unfortunate situation. Haley Joel Osment, I haven't seen him since like AI. He was really good. The supporting role I don't want to talk about. There's several roles in this that I wouldn't want to spoil for anyone, like the convenience store girls, the police chief, Guy Lapointe. There's these roles that I really don't want to spoil who plays them or anything, because if you know Kevin Smith or anything about him, you probably already know. But if you don't know, it might be fun to see these things. I'll talk about my spoiler review for this just to sort of gush for a minute, like, oh, this. There's a lot of like podcast references. In like the Super Groovy cartoon movie, the movie sucked, but it had fun references. This one is a good movie with those references in, so it elevates it even more because it's more like fun Easter eggs to point out. Michael Parks, he was amazing in Red State. He's really good in this too as an eccentric weirdo, just, oh, he's a freak. And the places this movie goes is pretty intense, fucked up. And then, like, it is a comedy, so some of it is definitely silly. When you're watching it, you'll either be like, this is messed up and creepy, but kind of funny. Like dark comedy almost in a way. Or really, some of it's really broad comedy. But you might also watch it and just be like, ah, this is just silly. And I get it. If you watch it and think it's just silly and you're not like into it, I understand. You can watch the movie and definitely see it as just a silly movie. But I went with it and I enjoyed it. When you finally see the walrus, I don't even know how to describe it. Just a bunch of, oh, it's a ball of gross, basically. I don't even know how to describe it. But it's really good effects. The effects on the walrus are fantastic looking. Really good makeup job. It looks really good. And yeah, some of the other effects before that, some of this, you see a little bit of surgery going on. So yeah, it's got good effects. It's a dark, funny movie. You've got good performances. And I'll be honest, in the Smodcast, again, it was very funny hearing them joke about it. I've listened to it a couple times after seeing the movie too. It's funny to hear them joke about it. In the movie, it's like tragic and sad at times, but it'll still make you laugh and creep you out. So I'm surprised. I'm like, Kevin Smith's making me sad and cry almost. A little tear might trickle down my face. And I didn't expect that, so kudos to Kevin Smith. Really, again, I'm excited more than ever about Kevin Smith movies, because yes, he's going to do Clerks 3, which is exciting as all hell, but he's doing things that he doesn't do. Red State, Tusk, his new Yoga Hosers, Moose Jaws. He's doing movies that only he can make. He's being a true artist and doing crazy, unique shit. I love that. I would give Tusk an A-. It's a really intense, awesome movie. I loved it a lot. It's really good. It's one of the best horror comedies out there. So comment below, tell me what you thought of Tusk. Is it Kevin Smith's best movie? Is it up there? Or do you not like it so much? What's your opinion on Tusk? And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later with my spoiler review for Tusk. Expect that a couple days after this, maybe even less. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.